sports fan. Okay, so the suggestions are coming in. Paul Pierce, I called game.
Did you call bank? I called game.
And drops the mic, just walks away from Broussard, which I have to believe even Broussard liked.
How could you not? You can't follow that up with anything, so it can only go down from there.
Yeah, I'm out, and you walk out the door.
Pierce actually saved Broussard from having to do anything more.
Right. So that was perfect. So we threw up the question, what are the greatest immediate post-game sound bites, quotes of all time? Now, we'll just save some time on this. We can't use most of the boxing. So we're getting the suggestions of a lot of great boxing moments.
We're trying, but
those are the property of the different pay-per-view entities, and you have to have permission to air them. So unfortunately, we can't air those. We can air this.
Anything's possible!
Kevin Garnett, little Patriot Ray over there, starts nodding his head happily. Anytime any Boston team does anything well, he's happy. That's Kevin Garnett, of course, on the court after the Celtics win the 2008 NBA championship. Then, of course, the legendary Bart Scott.
Can't wait.
That's in response to Sal saying, see you in Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
So those are the ones that are flying in most regularly. The Richard Sherman with Aaron on the field is also his Fox. So, Srudy, we don't have the permission. I don't think we can run that.
We're trying to get some. God knows you can get more than a few from NASCAR after some of those races with everybody wanting to fight all the time.
So we'll keep the suggestions coming in, and we'll keep trying to put as many as we can together for you here on Mike and Mike. Twitter reaction, 1-800-Flowers.com. Twitter feed, James tweets at us. The refs get paid to make those calls. For them not to see Blatt calling that timeout he didn't have is insane to me.
Again, this was after the Rose lap, a little over 9 seconds ago, so it was down right by their bench. And, Blatt actually steps out onto the court and is trying to call timeout. Tyronn Lue, to his credit, reaches out on the court and grabs Blatt and yanks him off the court before the ref can see it. So, listen, refs have missed things before, and they'll miss them again. It depends on where they're looking for that. It wasn't actually that long. It's not like he was trying to call timeout for 5 seconds. Put his hands up to call timeout, so it's a second. Tyronn Lue pulls him back. Nobody sees it.
Courtney Edwards tweets, I get what you're saying, but neither team had a timeout left, and both teams were able to huddle. Yes, it is an advantage to the defense to be able to set your defense, but I think it's far more significant.
Agreed.
That the offense gets its chance.
I do agree.
E. Dickerson tweets at us, what good does eliminating huddles do if LeBron is calling plays?
That's true, too.
It's like taking the radio from Peyton Manning's helmet, no point.
That's true, too.
And then my favorite one, NBA Online Blog tweets at us, Russell Wilson should have pulled a LeBron in the Super Bowl. He should have said, scratch that play. I'm giving the ball to Beast.
And then say, couldn't hear what was going on in my helmet.
Should have not run the play at the end.
And then quickly, if LeBron misses that shot, Coach Blatt is criticized for giving the ball to a cold shooter. I disagree with that.
Oh, no
I don't care how cold your best player is. If you get the chance for a game winner, it's going in his hands, and nobody's going to criticize you for it.
At minimum, you have to have him out there.
Yes.
So that other people have to pay attention
to him. That can open up
something. If they're going to throw the ball to J.R. Smith in that situation, let him take a shot as hot as he was. I have no problem with that.
I'm with you.
I have no problem with him getting the ball.
But you got to have LeBron on the court, so other eyes are on him.
Now, LeBron is he is your best passer.
Yeah.
So if you're looking with 0.8 seconds.
Well, that was my thought.
You're looking for something going to the basket, a lob.
That's what I said earlier. If you need a real pinpoint pass, if there's 0.8 seconds, then, you could see. It's not like what Blatt was doing. Did everybody lose their collective minds right away? Maybe they did. But if there were really 0.8 seconds ago, you could see wanting a pinpoint pass out of bounds.
Well, people couldn't lose their minds immediately because we didn't know it immediately.
Right.
This comes up a little bit after the game. It was, I don't know, at some point, maybe an hour or so after the game that I started seeing the flurry of it coming across on Twitter after the post-game comments of LeBron and everybody else involved. J.R. Smith, they all to a man acknowledge what happened.
They did.
No one's making a secret of what happened. LeBron James scratched the play. He said it himself. I scratched.
To be honest, the play that was drawn up, I scratched it.
I scratched it. I like that as much as I called game.
Yeah.
I scratched it.
I scratched it.
Here's the play. No good. Sorry. Not
Scratched it. Yeah.
Can anyone? Let me ask you a question. You were a player a long time.
Yeah.
Could another player on the team have scratched it? If J.R. Smith says no, we're not running that play. What happens?
No. But
only LeBron can.
But I'll also say LeBron's not the only person in basketball or in any sport that could do that. So while it was done, and a lot has to do with who's coaching as well, because Interesting in Phil Jackson's heyday, you know, when two of them is if Jordan tells him to scratch it, if they're setting something up, will Jordan tell Phil to scratch? Well, Jordan wouldn't have a problem telling anybody anything. Correct. Now, it's just a matter of if he said scratch it and Phil said, we're running it, it would be interesting.
Well, this happened once, not with Michael, but with Scottie Pippen. Very famously, Game 3 of a series against the Knicks in which the Bulls were down 2-0 in 1994. They get the ball with, I think there was 2 seconds left in the game, and Phil called a play for Tony Kukoc.
Right.
And Scottie Pippen wanted the ball enough that he refused to go into the game.
I remember.
Kukoc throws in a long shot. Right. They win.
Right.
And everything sort of winds up getting smoothed over. But I can still see, I was in the building, Bill Cartwright screaming at Scottie Pippen on the bench because he was so mad. Pippen refused to go in the game.
That was a horrible moment for him. But shift that to...
my point is Pippen obviously couldn't scratch the play.
So I guess my question would be what if Jordan were on the team at that point and Pippen was, and Phil called the play for Pippen and not Jordan? What would have happened?
But it's the difference. He wouldn't have.
No. Listen, I completely understand that. I wish he would have just so we could see what would happen.
No, again, going back to that, the famous story is that when they won their first title in 91, and every time out in the fourth quarter, now we're not just drawing up one play, but Phil is yelling at Jordan, who's open? Who's open? And he's saying Pax is, and John Paxson winds up scoring a ton of points in the fourth quarter of that game. And it's Paxson who winds up hitting the shot that wins the championship in 93.
So this is not heeding the advice. In football, there's more conversation, like a quarterback and the head coach or the offensive coordinator, and coming to a conclusion on a play. There could definitely be disagreement, but this was flat out, this coach wanted this, and I'm nixing it. We're doing something else.
All right, we're Mike and Mike. If you ever miss anything from the show, we got tons of great basketball analysis coming up a little bit later today. I mentioned